guys, welcome back to our fantastic King's Banner podcast. I am again joined by my brother, my pastor, Justin.
All the things.
All the things. I have a burning question for you.
All right.
I don't know if it's ever come up on the podcast before.
Yeah.
Are you married?
I am, indeed.
What?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. We, 14 years?
Okay.
Almost. Yeah, this October, 14 years
Okay.
of just full, epic, awesome.
Bliss, right?
Sweet perfection. Yeah.
Classic marriage. Then.
Sometimes marriage is like, being kissed by the love of your life while simultaneously being held under the water for longer than you would like. Something like that. Dude,
Yeah, that's good.
I love being married. I had somebody say that one time. They were like, gosh, what was the word? They said something like, it felt like 5 minutes underwater, but 5 minutes nonetheless, all
5
20
minutes
years or
underwater.
And I've been laughing at that ever since. I'm like, yeah. Marriage is like it's the closest you will ever be to heaven here or the closest you will ever be to hell on earth. That's what marriage is. Choose wisely.
And it's not just out of your control. You actually get to pick.
Yeah.
You have the option to pick alongside another person.
I got you. I get what you're saying,
Yeah.
but also like, dude, you're gonna change, she's gonna change, and you're gonna have to make some decisions about what are gonna keep you guys, synced up, running the same direction, getting after it. But yeah, whatever's wrong with your marriage in 2 or 3 years is probably what's wrong with you. So work that out and make it happen. Yeah.
Well, I bring it up because we're currently at a season, a month specifically, that the world has a really, really strong...
It's June.
It is
Yes.
June.
Yeah.
The gays are out in force, you could say.
All the homosexuals, yes.
And it seems like the perfect opportunity to talk about the exact opposite to everything the world wants to say love should be.
Dude, can we just acknowledge for a second, like how bad the sexual revolution has been for culture, for our nation, for families, for children? I don't know. What are we, like 70 million abortions?
It's something absurd.
And since, 2024, 2025, something like that. I mean, marriages are blowing up everywhere.
Yeah.
We have, single mothers, single fathers, swipe left, swipe right, live your own truth. How's it going? You know what I mean? Like, I wish we had a roadmap. And sometimes I feel like we just need to remind people that sometimes the way forward is actually backwards.
Yeah.
If you took a wrong turn, I don't know, 50 years ago, maybe what needs to happen is you walk backwards instead of continuing to walk.
So progressivism, as in to progress, doesn't always mean just taking steps forward.
My sister is famous for something called a Shelley Trail. Do you know it? Have you heard about this?
I've heard about
My sister, Michelle, would find trails, when we were hiking and want to follow them. And you would quickly find out this is not a trail. And either you can go ahead and say, okay, that was 20 minutes wasted. We need to get back to where we are. Or you can double down and say, no, I think I found it again. And sometimes it feels like that's where we're at. We're just drunk on the trail, and we're just like, no. This is leading somewhere. Progress at all costs, but progress doesn't mean growth. It just means don't go back no matter what. And oh my gosh, do we need to go back?
It's looking at history with the lens of they all got it wrong and we're enlightened now.
Yeah. Well, or we're what does it say in I think it's 2 Timothy 3? Some people are always learning and never coming to a knowledge of the truth.
Yeah.
Like, just on a journey. We're all on a journey together. Yeah, right to hell. That's how that's going to go. If you're the guy who hates landing on actual truth claims, bro, hell is hot and forever is a long time. Turn to Jesus. Just get it together, or else, it'll be bad for you. But
if you think Texas is hot,
just buckle up. Yeah, it's going to be a little bit rough, but I do think it's a good topic. Okay, so you're asking about like marriage and the chaos of everything.
Marriage and the chaos and everything. I want to look at like a couple of places where marriage has failed so badly that we're seeing just the effects on culture. Like this report coming out of the UK.
Yeah.
Like I guarantee you
250,000 women that have been sexually abused or raped.
Yeah.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Like horrifying.
Uh-huh.
Horrifying. And
Where are the men? Where are the fathers?
If we had biblical marriage actually
oh my gosh.
going on in Great Britain,
no kidding. Yeah.
this wouldn't happen.
I think about like the okay, so we were talking about the sexual revolution briefly, but I just think about like, okay, so it used to be that a father was involved in, who his daughter was seeing.
Yeah.
You really weren't allowed to even consider marriage until you had a job. You were a reputable individual. You could protect, provide. Then you can maybe come over for dinner to meet the family, have a conversation. Like sex was not a transactional thing. Before that was even in the equation, the question is, are you able to support a family?
Yeah.
Are you a person that somebody should actually be with? And we've taken the responsibility away from fathers and families and placed it on individuals, which is a mistake. And a lot of people want to talk about it, and they're like, oh, it was the worst time in human history, It was just terrible.
Fathers own their children like property.
Their children like chattel slavery, and it was terrible. And what we need is liberation from these structures that we put in place that have kept people from blowing up the world.
Yeah.
It's terrible. How come we can't blow up the world together? Like, good night. It's the biggest value statement ever to someone to say, we want to make sure that before somebody steps into your life and desires this particular value from you, that they are bringing an immense value and ability to care for you in the first place, so that it would be clear to everyone, like, you are of such value that we would not settle for less than this. And our family is going to make sure, and our community is going to make sure that idiots who don't want to take responsibility and authority in these areas that, let's say, God has called them to, but also society flourishes under, those people aren't going to be able to get away with the kinds of nefarious things that people want to.
Yeah.
So you have the feminist movement that liberates women from their fathers and from their families. Sex and reproductive rights have become the mantra of freedom, which is not freedom. It's license, which is different, because freedom has to do with virtue and license has to do with sin, right?
Yeah. I want to even dig into the word reproductive rights. Like, the only reproductive right that exists,
it's Hobbesian.
Yeah.
It's the Leviathan.
Yeah.
What I want and have a desire for is ultimately a right that I have. Yep. Whatever I want, I should get. And the only time that this is, this monster is castrated is in societies where we all have different wants. So we pacify them together to try to get along. Hobbes was anyways, it's rough. But we call desires rights now.
Yeah. Well, but it's not even like you can talk about sexual rights and like it makes sense, but the only reproductive right, reproduction involves a new human being. And the only reproductive right is the right of that child in utero to live.
Yeah. The only rights that you are given are the rights that are given to you by Almighty God. And that means the only freedom that you have is freedom walking not in sin, but in unison with our Creator, living out the way that He actually called us to live. Yeah. And it does suck a little bit that our nation has gotten this twisted up. Like, because freedom is this word that used to mean something, and it was a liberation from oppressive systems that are not allowing you to worship God. Yeah. Right? Yeah. Like, that's the Pilgrims are coming across on the Nina, Pinta, and Santa Maria, right there, or the Mayflower or whatever. What are the three ships that I just named?
That was Columbus.
Is that? It probably was. Yeah, history check. Sorry, guys. But they came across because they were trying to escape the religious persecution that they were dealing with because they weren't able to worship God the way that they wanted to. Yeah. So they came over seeking freedom to worship God. Yeah. Like to worship Christ, to build communities that were built around that. And now freedom and love and other words just get hijacked and injected with a bunch of meaning that they're never meant to have in the first place. So freedom has become license. Love also means license. Rights also mean license. All of these words that used to represent virtue have now become the mantra of everyone who is seeking vice.
Yeah.
And it shows.
Vice is literally a thing that holds something in place. Like
you could say bondage if you wanted to. Yeah.
Like freedom, quote unquote, to sin isn't freedom. It's the exact opposite. It's slavery to appetite.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And I think about like a teenager who, like, did you ever have that friend who's like, oh yeah, come to my house. We can get in the liquor cabinet. We can party all day. We can do whatever we want. My parents don't care. Right. Fast forward 10 years, that kid's thinking, oh yeah,
my parents didn't care.
My parents didn't care.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Like, it wasn't freedom. It was no guardrails, nothing. It was slavery to self.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, that's absolutely right. So we're in a place now where somebody says love is love. And what we're saying is that it defines itself in the same way that we say, what is a woman? Well, a woman is somebody who identifies as a woman. Yeah. Right? So what does that mean? We don't know. Whatever I need it to mean in the moment. Whatever I need to get out of this conversation as quickly as I possibly can.
Yeah.
Words mean things, guys. Just so we're clear, they mean things. But I would say this, they only mean things if they have a foundation, an epistemological bedrock that you can find the meaning for in these things, which is why the Bible is kind of a big deal. By what standard are you defining anything? By what standard do you define freedom?
Yeah.
By what standard do you define love? Yeah. By what standard do you define marriage? By what standard do you define man, woman, child? Lest we launch ourselves into the chaos that we see today, which is women all across the UK being raped and the government literally defending the worst kind of people. You see the marriage under attack, identities under attack, children being murdered, and us continuing to support all of these things in the name of, democracy, which is not... We're not a democracy. Yeah. At least we're not supposed to be.
Yeah.
But,
I mean, Christ is king. Yeah. Christ isn't president. He's king.
Right. He's king. Yeah, absolutely. So when we talk about marriage, I think it's just important to talk about fundamentally what God brought together, what he instituted. And it's really hard to even think about men outside of understanding what a woman is and thinking about what a woman is outside of what a man is. And if you don't define these things from a biblical point of view, you're going to have a really hard time making sense of reality itself.
Yeah.
And it's funny, like watching, Disney try to rewrite stories and place women in all the places that people know men are supposed to be, and men in all the places that people know women are supposed to be, and then watching them lose millions and millions of dollars because it doesn't resonate with the human heart as much as you want to jam it down people's throats. It just resonates with people who deeply want it to be true.
Yeah. And it's not even that it's resonating with them. It's just they're shouting so loud that they want it, that they've convinced themselves they do.
Yeah. And then it started to rain, and Noah got into the ark and let it burn.
I want to talk about that, actually. I was thinking about that. So we're King's banner. Yeah. Christ is the banner over us.
Yeah.
For until glory.
Yep.
The banner that the gay movement has placed over themselves is the very promise that God said, I won't destroy you for your sin in the same way again.
Yeah.
He didn't say, I won't destroy you again. He said, in the same way.
In this way, yeah.
They are literally using the exact method of their own damnation upon themselves to say,
this is what we're going to do.
Yeah.
It's the whole thing is pretty hilarious. Like, it's awful and terrible and so freaking ironic. I ask myself sometimes, like, how can you be a Mormon? Like, You stay with me for a second.
Justin, I'm not a Mormon.
How can you be a Mormon? Like, how can somebody believe the insane things that you have to believe when somebody could be like, you talk to your great-grandpa, and he'd be like, yeah, that's definitely not true. Those people, everybody knows. That's fiction. It's not true.
Yeah.
There's just some strong, blinding demons behind these things that it seems like anybody looking at it at face value knows, yeah, that's probably not a good idea. That's a mistake. This isn't good. But you get involved in it and you just like lose your brains. You just check them at the door and you lose your mind for a little while and you live in a way that you shouldn't live. You walk in ways that you shouldn't walk. You do stuff you shouldn't do. And you demand that everyone else just agree with you. And let's start naming months after things. And not even to mention that, June. June has some significance from a pagan perspective. Another time, maybe we can get into this. But ultimately, if you ever read...
what are the cliff notes on that?
June has to do with the celebration of Asherah, who was really into transgenderism. And I think the month was actually somehow named after Asherah herself. I'd have to get into the details and dig that up. It's in Jonathan Cahn's book. He's got a book called Return of the Old Gods.
Oh,
fantastic book. Highly recommend you guys read it. Some of the stuff that dude writes is off the wall. That book, actually pretty good. I don't know about everything he talks about with regard to Stonewall, but he's making the point that we're seeing a resurgence of all these old pagan ideologies. And it's like, we know these things are stupid. We know these things are not good for us, and we're just throwing ourselves into it wholeheartedly because there's a trail here. I'm sure there's a trail here, and I'm constantly amazed that people are fooled by just the stupidest things. But man, if it feeds our appetites and you can find somebody who will call your appetites a human right.
Yeah.
A lot of people jump on that train. The Bible says in the same passage about people with itching ears, right? Who will find teachers who will tell them what they want to hear.
Yeah. Well, you say
High five on the way to hell.
They want to be fooled. It kind of reminds me of the plot of The Prestige. And if you look at any sort of sleight of hand or stage magic, there's always explanations for how these things are done.
Yeah.
But you lose kind of the fun of it when you know.
Yeah.
You don't want to know the truth in stage magic. You want to be fooled.
Mm-hmm. It's the Matrix, right?
Yeah.
It's Cypher talking to whatever is the agent.
Oh, yeah.
No, and he says, we'll put you back in the system wherever you want to go. And he says,
I want to be rich.
Ignorance is bliss, right? Like he doesn't want to know the truth.
Yeah. He just wants.
He'd rather live in some kind of fantasy, right? And that's a lot of that. I mean, when you think about the trans ideology is, I would like to reject reality outright. I would like to reject the body that I've been given. All the people who've been claiming science to deny God suddenly have outright rejected science to deny themselves.
Yeah.
You just have to keep going down the branches on the stupid tree, thinking to yourself, I'll never really hit the ground. This will be endless. The ground is going to hurt. It's going to suck.
Rejecting biblical truth to try and define marriage as something it's not. You don't have to engage with the conversation of should gay people be allowed to get married? It's not about whether they're allowed to or not. Marriage definitionally means that it's a man and a woman married together in unity before God.
Yeah.
You can't have the argument, well, should a man be able to marry a man?
Yeah.
It doesn't matter if he should or not.
Covenant
he can't.
of marriage is a Christian construct.
Yeah.
It's a Christian thing. It's God bringing these two together in covenant with him to accomplish what he's called them to do. And this is why everybody calls it same-sex mirage. It's not really there. It's this, this wavy thing in the desert that isn't there that people hope is there because they're starving for water because they're not actually, drinking the water of life, right?
Yeah.
But it really is wild to me how many things you have to redefine. And people have to use Christian language in the language that actually exists. Language with substance, they remove the substance and add whatever else and they want. It's kind of this men without chests mentality that Lewis gets into in The Abolition of Man.
Yeah.
It's like we're removing the substance, you know what I mean, and expecting people to still have the strength and chest to be able to defend or walk into something. It's like you took all of it away.
Yeah.
You sapped the life out of this and you're demanding the same function from it. And it's wild to me. Did you know that the highest the highest statistics for abuse in marriage is with lesbian couples?
I did know.
Did you know that? Like,
I did.
I heard that cracked me up. I was like, everybody thinks the abuse of one of the men, and then I was reading that. I'm like, that's really funny, and I could get into some of the nuance there with like the male couples or whatever, right?
Yeah.
But God put men and women together for marriage. We're different. That's important. That's not a problem. That's actually a gift that God gave to you.
Not only are we different and it's not a problem, but he's given us different commands in marriage. And one of the things we've been going through Colossians at church, and Colossians 3 has some interesting things to say about what a man and a woman are called to do within marriage.
Yeah, I mean, so you have Colossians is one of the prison epistles. So you have these early epistles that are given, which generally deal with like, quit being a sinful monster, quit doing all these sexually depraved things.
Yeah.
This is the fullness of the gospel.
If you have to
walk
ask,
this stuff out.
no, you can't.
Exactly. The prison epistles are kind of like the second round of letters that he's sending to these people that he's already done ministry with. So if you can imagine, we had the first group of disciples that are getting early teachings. The second group of disciples, now we're really digging into marriage.
Yeah.
And we're digging into like walking these things out the way that we're supposed to. And we get into this teaching on marriage, which is wives are to be subject to their husbands, and that husbands are not to be embittered against their wives, and that children are supposed to obey their parents, and fathers don't exasperate your children. Very similar to the teaching in Ephesians chapter 5 and getting into 6 a little bit with kids, but wives are to be, submit to their husbands in all things. And, husbands are supposed to love their wives as Christ loved the church. And again, hey, dads, don't embitter your children. You know what I mean? Don't crush them. Don't crush them. And this is not a difficult teaching. This is not like, it's not complicated.
Yeah.
We just hate it.
Yeah.
Men don't want to take responsibility. Women would happily take responsibility if it means they don't have to submit. Dads would love to be better. Women would love to be rebellious, and children, fathers especially would love to exasperate, and kids don't want to be obedient to their parents. So it's like, let's just poke all of the things that our natural sinful proclivities want to go against. And then after we've spent enough time talking about how horrible it is to do, the way that God wants to do things and how trite it is, then we'll do it our own way and see what happens. And I would say, look, the Christianity built the Western world, and all the ideologies that people want to embrace absolutely have devastated 90% of the empires that we've seen. Like if you ever read, which book is it? The Rise and Fall of Civilizations, The Clash of Civilization. I think what is it, Samuel Huntington or something? But he talks about how sexual depravity is basically the last step in the fall of any major civilization. Yeah. When you abandon the way that things are actually supposed to be, you can expect society to crumble. And without fail, this is what happens and how things go. And it just cracks me up. It's like, it's Psalm 2, let's cast off the fetters that God has put onto us, and he who sits in heaven laughs. But these things are important. And what we see in Romans 1 is that people, when they want to abandon what God has given them to do, are given over to wrath, which is God giving you your way. Yeah,
you had this line recently in a sermon. The only people who don't get their way are the Christians.
Oh, Christians. Yeah. Thank God.
Yeah.
I don't want my way. Yeah. Like, I was running the wrong way. And he was like, no, you're doing this now. I'm like, thank you. But he makes the point, like God's wrath is giving people over to what they want.
Yeah.
And it says that these people are suppressing the truth of God and embracing a lie instead. And so it says that men traded out natural relationships for unnatural ones, and women traded out natural relationships for unnatural ones. What does this mean? Well, God told me that I'm supposed to be with a woman, but you know what? I like myself better, so I'm going to find another version of me to be with. Why? Because I don't like the way that God put it together. And women are doing the same thing. Well, I don't really like the idea of what God did. I'll find somebody like myself. So when we worship the created thing rather than the creator, what do we end up trying to do? Well, even in my relationships, I would rather have myself than somebody else. I would rather have somebody more like me than what God intended in the first place. And it's a mess. So when we see this teaching in Colossians, ultimately what we're seeing is, hey, from the beginning, God created man to be responsible, to provide, to protect. Now, he's given these commands from God, the assumption being Adam would then give these commands and teach his wife what to do and what not to do. From the beginning, this is the picture. And we brought up in, the podcast about the Bible the other day, right? I do not permit a woman to teach or exercise authority over a man, and then it's placed in creation.
Yeah.
Like, not just because this is some arbitrary thing that I'm saying that's culturally relevant. No, like God intended things to function in this capacity. He's supposed to lead. She is supposed to help him accomplish the mission that God gave to both of them. It's like God gives marching orders to men and women.
Yeah.
It's not arbitrary. This is how you're going to accomplish what I've been called, or what you're called to do. And this is the second really important piece of this is you're supposed to have a family.
Yeah.
You're supposed to have children. They're a blessing. This is part of how you take dominion, extend the garden to the world, do the things that God has called us to do. And what are we rejecting? What a man is, what a woman is, the necessity of children and the desire for them, at all. And then we're choosing each other instead. And it's funny because what are homosexual relationships? They're castrated. You can't have children.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So we're trying to find ways to fabricate it and make it work. But ironically, I'm trying to think of the psalm, but it says evil will destroy the wicked.
Yeah.
And it's so funny because it's an entire movement that cannot reproduce.
Yeah.
It will literally end itself. Like its only goal
will end itself if it doesn't
is to reproduce through ideology and then loot their future as a means of gaining its present.
Yeah.
Funny.
Tell me it's not genetic without telling me it's not genetic. If you look at the generational breakdowns of queer identity.
Yeah.
Like Gen Z is suddenly like, oh, we're 20% gays. It's like
we're all gay now, man.
It's like you're not. You're not. Honestly, I even kind of reject the label of saying somebody is gay.
Yeah.
I think they partake in the sin of homosexuality.
Saying somebody is gay is like saying somebody is a sinner.
Yeah, it's like
yeah, they probably are.
Yeah,
but if what you mean by gay is unable to live in a way that's consistent with what God has said in an affirmed way that everybody else has to back up, I need to think about a great way to explain this. But everybody. Yeah. Everybody's a sinner.
Yeah.
Everybody's running the wrong way. What we should not do is say, yes, that's great. We affirm, we love, we celebrate, and think it's good for flourishing in society. It's not. This is why I'm going to go here.
Yep.
This is why the Bible, especially in like Levitical law, is like, don't put up with this for an instant.
Yeah.
Like, end it.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Why?
Yeah.
Because it's a blight on society.
Yeah.
Like it literally produces death. It's the same thing with like witchcraft. It's like if this stuff is happening, put an end to it right away because it's only going to take you places that you don't want to go.
Yeah.
And look, here's something that's really important. In the same way that I would say this person, however they identify with their sin, is probably a sinner. That person is not their sin.
Yeah.
Like whenever I talk to somebody who is of the homosexual proclivity, my goal with that person is not just to tell them that they're in sin, although we should do that. The goal is to remind them that they are more than their sexual preference.
Yes.
And if you are so narrow in your thinking that you have come to believe that the single most important and defining factor about you is where you stick your private parts, something is deeply wrong. Like, God has made you to be so much more than that. Like, get that through your head. I always want people to understand first, you're a human that is made in the image of God. You are a person before you're your sexual preference. Let's start there. If we can just start with you're a person first before you add on all the it's like you're not your what you're attracted to. It defines who I love hot dogs, like you're a wiener. I had a pastor bring this up, and I thought it was so good. This might be a little bit lewd. So if your kids are in the car, maybe come back to this later. But he was talking to his son, and his son was struggling with homosexuality and had experimented, let's say, with another young kid. And his son came to him and said, like, "Dad, I think I might be gay. This happened, and I got to tell you, I actually enjoyed it. It felt really good." And he said, yeah, have you like masturbated before? And he said, yeah. He's like, does that make you a hand sexual? Like, oh, is that your sexual orientation? No, I'm a hand sexual. His point was, yeah, you're going to like it even better when it's with the wife that you're supposed to have. Just because you enjoyed something that was sinful doesn't mean I now define my entire identity based on what it is. Yeah. Like, again, if you're going down this trail and you're like, I think it might be just turn around. Just go back to the way that God intended. It'll be really good if you do what God has called you to do in the first place. And I just think it's important that people get God created marriage for the flourishing of mankind and for the ultimate dominion that Christ has called us to, walk through here. Yeah. Through his creation, we're to bring about the glory of God through the gifts and abilities that he's given us. And the bedrock of how that gets done, according to Genesis, and I think the rest of the Bible, is through family. Yeah. Man, woman, children, go forth and bring life where there's been death, bring hope where there's been, chaos. Do all the things that you're meant to do to bring the garden to the rest of the world. And if you know, Christian, that your marriage is not primarily about personal, psychological happiness, but a mission to extend the glory of God everywhere you go, then I think that changes the dynamic in marriage. But like happiness has become the grounds or the reason for marriage, which makes unhappiness grounds for divorce. Yeah. Happiness has become the reason for having children, which means that if children don't necessarily make you happy, just don't have them. Or if I am pregnant, I don't want this. I'll just get rid of it. I'll just delete my son or delete my daughter and act like it wasn't a big deal. I think this idea of happiness, this cheap, in the moment, substanceless idea of happiness, which is just, I like my brain chemistry to be this way. I don't want to face anything difficult, has created in us the most unhappy generation ever, the most purposeless generation ever, and the most dopamine-obsessed, sexually driven culture ever that is still not happy. Like, we need a new word for this, enjoying sin, but deeply without purpose or hope. Well, you know what I'm saying? Like, there needs to be a word for this. Like, I think it used to be like addiction, like I can't stop doing the thing because it makes me happy in the moment. But if I'm being honest, it's ruining my entire life. And it's the reason I keep doing it is because I'm trying to escape reality.
But culture has taken the word addiction and turned it into a disease that you have to be treated, and it's not your fault.
Yeah. The thing that you shouldn't be doing, we've now said, is an identity. It's who you are.
Well, but like
even in AA now, they don't say you're done being an alcoholic. They say, no, you're always going to be an alcoholic, but you don't have to act on these things. And I'm like, that's pretty funny, actually. Seems right along the lines of everything else that we're teaching, which is if it's a thing that I want, it must be an identity that I am. Yeah. I just detest that with all of my heart. Just read the Bible, bro. Yeah. Just go to Jesus. Just work that out.
It's funny that you say we need a new word for this boiled down to sinful happiness. And I mean, what are the word
More
gay
like
used?
sinful despair.
Yeah, but what did the word gay used to mean?
Oh, happy.
Yeah,
Right? Yeah.
and so like it's just ironic.
Nihilistic hedonism. Thank you, Fred. Yeah, I think that's why I said we need a word for it is I think we need one that people understand.
Yeah,
but yes, 100% the case. Yeah,
I didn't see what he said there.
Nihilistic hedonism being we came from nothing, we're going into nothing.
Yeah.
Have a good time in the process of being, eventually floating into the heat death of the universe itself.
Yeah,
something along those lines.
So, I want to bring it back to something you said earlier and kind of tie it together. So I had a pastor years ago who he fought vehemently in his church to make sure that they didn't bring women into the elder board and thus women into the pastoral roles.
Yeah.
And because he said without fail, the thing that ended up leading the church into gay affirming roles is you can trace it back to bringing women into the pastoral.
It starts with gender roles.
And you had mentioned something very briefly that I wanted to touch on to do with that.
Yeah.
That the SBC is now changing their...
Yeah, thank God. So Al Mohler, who is just a paragon of the Baptist, faith, God bless him, he put forth this motion to basically solidify the reality that women can't be pastors or function in the role of a pastor, which is important because people will be like, oh, we'll let them do whatever. We just won't call them pastors. And it's like, no, you can't separate the function from the title.
Yeah.
That's not how that works.
Yeah.
So they passed a motion, which basically, but I think it was about 75% said, yeah, we're not, we're on board with saying this is not the way that things should go. Basically, I think they'll come back to it in 2 years and officially solidify it. But until then, this is how things function. So it was a massive win. But the reason this is important, to your point, is the same hermeneutic that's used to say women can be pastors, women can be apostles, women can be, they can function in all the same capacities as a man, is the exact same hermeneutic that the homosexual Christians, not Christians, so we're clear, will use to try to affirm this type of mentality. And it's what's so funny about this is this measure got passed. All of the people that are throwing fits and saying it's terrible have a rainbow flag out front.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like that's how it goes. They're not even like Southern Baptist churches. They're churches that have left it a long time ago who have women pastors and have not just women pastors, but like they're lesbian pastor, they're gay pastor, whatever. Like it's the same hermeneutic that is taking you to places that you don't want to go. And it's important that we realize this. If you compromise in one place, you will inevitably compromise in another. Everything how you do one thing is how you do everything.
Yeah.
And so it was a huge win this last week or two with the SBC, seeing some good changes that need to be made. But yeah, this hermeneutic people take, which is this historical cultural hermeneutic, which is to say, I will interpret these texts in light of the culture and kind of ignore the rest of Scripture or the syntactical, lexical approach to things. This will speak louder than these things. Now when I go to any text that I don't like, I can go to that culture and dig something out that helps me reinterpret whatever the Bible is saying very plainly.
Yeah.
That's a problem. Now, I agree that we should use history and culture to help us understand the Bible, but if that is your primary hermeneutic, then you use it as a hammer and you go back and smash every other text you don't like to make it say something that it never meant. Like, I don't know how you get from, I do not permit a woman to teach or exercise authority over a man to women should preach and teach and run the church. Like, that's not how that should work. And then what's the trickle?
Yeah.
Now families are flipping. Mm-hmm. Now men aren't leading homes. They don't have to. Oh, what did I just do? Well, I just opened the door for all the sins of men and all the sins of women to actually be affirmed in the family. And we're wondering now why we're having all these problems.
In the church.
Yeah, well, and then it happens in communities, and it's happening on a larger scale. I mean, God tells us in Isaiah 3 that like women and children, in leadership positions is actually like a way that God shows us that his wrath is being poured out. And we're over here like, this is great. For the first time, a woman is taking over.
Girl
like,
power.
All we're saying is the men are abdicating, not stepping up, not protecting, not doing what they're supposed to be doing. As a consequence of their abdication, women are now in rebellion and stepping into places that they're not supposed to be. And then we can look at places like UK and we're like, oh,
yeah,
that's what happens when you let men be barbarians and you let
say it.
The over nurturing feminine victimization psyche, which is not godly femininity.
No.
And it's certainly not godly masculinity, take over. Now we have barbarians coming through, and they're literally raping and pillaging, and we're affirming it.
Yeah.
Because we don't know what to do anymore.
Yeah.
All the toxic masculinity, which was just masculinity, has been pushed out and put on the fringes and called bad long enough that we don't actually know what to do. We'll just agree with the Vikings when they come through now. And
if you want to talk about what masculinity is actually toxic, it's just effeminate.
Yeah.
But to your point, I'm gonna go here real quick on the political level of things. If the U.S. does ever have a woman president, we're in trouble.
I think it's a symptom. Look, I'll go here for a second, okay? I don't think Donald Trump is the second coming of Jesus Christ. Not by a long shot. I also think we're reading through the book of Judges, and I'm like, yeah, that's kind of what we have. We got a guy that God gave us that is probably not super put together. Was he better than the other? 100%.
Yeah.
Absolutely. I would say, yes, absolutely. Is that guy still in bed with people he shouldn't be? I'm sure he's in the Epstein files. I'm sure that's why we're having, oh my gosh, I could just go down the wormhole. Here's what I would say. A nation is given wicked leaders when the nation is wicked. Yeah. And we should not be surprised when we get wicked leaders, when we're a wicked again, because that's part of God's judgment. But yeah, the more women you see in places in leadership where men are supposed to be leading and protecting and providing, the more obvious it is that we're drifting into a society that has been given over to way things that are not supposed to be in the first place. And especially when we're celebrating it. Yeah. Right? Like Isaiah, right? Don't woe to those who call good evil and evil good. And I just think we're in an interesting place in our culture today. And man, the stuff that we're talking about on this podcast today, I'm sure there will be fires going off. Maybe it'll get canceled. Maybe we'll get flagged and kicked off of, whatever network we're on currently. I mean, here's what I would say.
We're not going to stop recording, but...
Well, this is my point. Somebody's got to say something. Yeah. Like what we do not need is more Christians cowering in the back of the church saying, just love people. And by love people, they mean let people continue in sin and the debauchery that's destroying our entire nation. All the people in the UK who are watching their daughters and wives getting raped by all these barbarians coming through are the very people who would say, we just need to love them. Yeah. You know what I mean? Keep it comfortable. Don't say anything. And if you do, you're clearly being racist or whatever language you want. This is just false piety. It is garbage. It is not Christianity. Christianity fights for the things that Christ has called us to fight for. It loves the people that God has called us to love in a biblical love, which means to the glory of God for the good of that person, usually for my own discomfort. That's usually what it comes with.
It goes back to what the Bible actually says about freedom in Galatians. It says, use your freedom to serve one another in love.
Absolutely. And as long as we pervert all the terms that the Bible has given us with defining it by culture instead of with the Bible, we're going to continue to stay in a cycle of, I'm going to say, feminized, toxic Christianity, which is just this blasphemous whore of Babylon kind of Christianity, not the biblical Christianity that represents Christ and his church and what he has called us to do. So, this month in particular, do not spend all of your time after listening to this podcast going and putting everyone on blast who isn't doing it right. Point those things out, make it clear, and do a better job in your own marriage. Yeah. Love your wife. Quit abdicating responsibility. Quit passing on protecting and providing. And I do not just mean a paycheck. I mean Take care of their hearts. Guide your children to love Jesus. Teach them what it's supposed to look like. Wash your wife with the pure water of the word. Forgive. Don't get bitter. Wives, man, quit competing with your husband in the home. Let him lead.
Yeah.
Be the helper that you're called to be. Encourage them. Love on them. Walk with them. Raise your kids like they're little firebrands for the kingdom that are going to go to war with the next generation of darkness, because it's coming and we need families to do this. And I hate to say it, because it's such a leftist mantra, but it really is the way to do things. What is it? Act locally and then move globally. You know what I mean? And if you think that you're succeeding in the war against the darkness by shouting into the void about all the bad things that are going on, but you're not working on your own family at home, you are just as much a part of the problem as everything else is.
Yeah.
Healthy marriages, healthy kids, strong communities, godly churches. That's the bedrock of how things are built and how community is shaped and formed and how God is glorified. Fight for those things and call out the nonsense where you see it, but not until you at least are clearly working on it in your own life.
Hear, hear. All right. Before we close out, just a side note. If you're watching on video, you can see this. If you're on audio, we have Justin's new book.
Oh, yeah. It's coming.
This is Burn. By the time this goes out, it'll be available to purchase, I think.
I don't know. We'll find out.
Okay, we're close. We're close.
I'll get you deets. I'll make sure that we have the stuff coming up for it. But stay hyped. Tell your friends. Yeah. And I hope it, hope it starts a fire. Should be fun.
Yeah.
Right on. All right, guys. Have an amazing week.